Welcome to our YouTube channel. Book of Genesis Summary. 1. Introduction. The beginning. Genesis 1:2. God creates the heavens, the earth, and all living things in 6 days, rests on the seventh. Humanity is created in God's image. Adam and Eve live in the Garden of Eden. God gives them freedom with one command: not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Key takeaway: God is the creator, and humans are made for relationship with him. 2. The fall and its consequences. Genesis 3. Adam and Eve disobey God and eat the forbidden fruit. Sin enters the world, bringing shame, fear, and separation from God. God promises a future redeemer, the first prophecy of salvation. Key takeaway: sin has consequences, but God's plan for redemption begins immediately. 3. Early human history. Genesis 4:5. Cain kills Abel out of jealousy. God judges Cain but still shows mercy. Humanity multiplies. Generations are listed from Adam to Noah. Sin spreads, but God preserves a faithful line. Key takeaway: sin affects all humanity, yet God remains faithful to his plan. 4. The flood and God's covenant with Noah. Genesis 6:9. Humanity becomes exceedingly wicked. God decides to cleanse the earth with a flood. Noah, a righteous man, is saved along with his family and animals in the ark. After the flood, God establishes a covenant with Noah. Never again will he destroy the earth by flood. The rainbow is the sign. Key takeaway: God judges sin but provides salvation for the faithful. 5. The Tower of Babel. Genesis 10:11. Humanity attempts to build a tower to reach heaven, showing pride and rebellion. God confuses their language, scattering people across the earth. Key takeaway: pride and rebellion against God lead to confusion and division. God's purposes prevail. 6. Call of Abraham. Genesis 12:14. God calls Abraham to leave his homeland and promises to make him a great nation. Abraham obeys and journeys in faith, demonstrating trust in God. God promises Abraham's descendants will inherit the land and be a blessing to all nations. Key takeaway: faith and obedience open the door to God's blessings. 7. God's covenant with Abraham. Genesis 15:17. God promises Abraham countless descendants despite his old age. Abraham believes God. This faith is counted as righteousness. God establishes circumcision as a sign of the covenant. Key takeaway: God's promises are sure, and faith is central to his covenant. 8. Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. Genesis 18:36. Isaac is born to Abraham and Sarah in fulfillment of God's promise. Jacob receives the birthright and blessing, later wrestling with God and receiving the name Israel. God's plan continues through these patriarchs, despite human flaws. Key takeaway: God works through imperfect people to fulfill his purposes. 9. Joseph, God's providence. Genesis 37:50. Joseph, Jacob's son, is sold into slavery by his brothers. Through trials in Egypt, Joseph rises to power and saves many lives during famine. God's plan is revealed. What was meant for evil, God used for good, preserving his people. Jacob's family moves to Egypt, setting the stage for the Exodus. Key takeaway: God's providence can turn trials into triumph and fulfill his promises. Summary of lessons from Genesis. 1. God is creator and sustainer of all life. 2. Humanity's choices have consequences, but God remains faithful. 3. Faith and obedience are rewarded by God. 4. God works through imperfect people to accomplish his purposes. 5. God's promises are sure and extend across generations. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more.